Of course, there are many causes to the European conquest of Africa. However, the most important ones among them, they can be directly traced back to the Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution promoted innovation, from the advanced trades to medicine to highly advanced weaponry like the Maxim gun. Europeans have been evicted from much of Africa from diseases like malaria. However, advancements in medicine with treatments like quinine. At this point, the Europeans were equipped with more advanced weaponry like the Maxim gun in order to conquer Africa.
If it had not been for us, the Africans may never have been able to defend themselves. While the rest of the world was utilizing advanced weaponry like firearms, the Africans were mostly limited to spears and bow and arrows of metal, which cannot match the power and range of firearms.
So the Europeans were primarily successful due to their advanced war technology relative to the Africans' traditional weapons like spears and their disease-resistant medicine. But why exactly did the Europeans conduct the conquest of Africa? What caused the conquest of Africa?
They had all this Greenland and resources far exceeding of what Britain had inland, and these Africans had all of this, and they barely used any of it. God gave them all the resources they would need to dominate the world, and they didn't do it.
South Africa was a prosperous grass and forest land with cash crops, grains, sugar, potato, cotton, tobacco, tea, all highly valued during the 1700s, but was not traded on a large scale. South Africa did have a large variety of minerals like gold and diamonds, even coal, located in the most populated area of South Africa at the time, of East South Africa. British coal was the basis for the Industrial Revolution, but these people, with coal and more resources, did not achieve the same innovation. So the European want for underutilized resources, perhaps for trade power, thus political power, may have been a cause, but what long-term effects has it had on Africa? In order to find out, I visited the historian Adiasa Makaba in the University of South Africa to learn more about how Africa had changed.
If you look very closely, you'll find that in South Africa, or the majority of African countries for that matter, had increased literacy rates throughout the time of the Europeans. We also see mortality rates decreasing from the time of the Europeans, most likely due to the introduction to medical innovation and advancement from the Europeans. Looking at the levels of work revealed that African nations had shifted towards services, allowing them to become more specialized with careers like medicine and engineering, allowing many African countries like Egypt to develop.
To see this literary data in real life and its effects, we went to Rhodian School to take a look at Amos Lifa, a fourth grader.
So what's your favorite part about reading and writing in school?
I get to read a lot of books. Sometimes I don't like the books at school, so sometimes I read on my own and I learn a lot more. Sometimes there's even a bias in what we are learning. I learn about the truth. But I think the greatest thing it has done for me is that I found my passion. I found the incredible dimension of engineering. All my life I thought all I could be was a farmer, but I want to be something greater. I want to be an engineer in the army to make my country more powerful.
African nations had shifted towards services, allowing them to become more specialized with careers like medicine and engineering, allowing many African countries like South Africa to develop technologically, financially, politically, military, and such in order to remain a land to reckon with in the modern world. In current day, Africans followed the form of modern armies with the usage of firearms and vehicles. Now having this sort of army would provoke nations to conquer Africa due to their relatively weak armies and equipment. So, from the Industrial Revolution innovations to Europeans craving for underutilized resources, it ultimately resulted in Africa's improvement in education, health, and prominence, as well as defense in the modern world of nations.